Monad prayer, Jesus taught only to John's secret prayer, open source portal, lost monad code. Jesus gave to Jesus and John. The hidden monad prayer, 60-second portal, prayer from Jesus, Jesus revealed. The monad secret to John, ancient prayer opens source portal in 60 seconds. Fast the beloved disciples' hidden transmission. In the quiet hours before dawn, on a hillside far from the crowds, Jesus pulled John aside. The beloved disciple leaned close as Jesus whispered words never recorded in any gospel. This was not teaching meant for the masses. This was transmission reserved for the one who could hold it. The monad prayer, a portal opener, a key to source itself. John trembled as he heard it, not from fear, but from recognition. Something ancient stirred within him. He had known this prayer before birth, before time, before the world was spoken into being. Jesus was not teaching him something new. He was reminding him of what he already was, what all humans are beneath the layers of forgetting. The monad is the original unity, the undivided spark of divine consciousness that existed before separation occurred, before angels and humans, before light and dark split into duality. There was only the monad, pure awareness, infinite potential, the source of all sources. Jesus understood this because he himself lived from that state. He moved through the world as the monad expressed in flesh, and now he was giving John the pathway back. A prayer so simple it could be spoken in 60 seconds, yet so powerful it could shatter every illusion between the soul and God. This was not a request for divine intervention. It was not begging or pleading. It was a declaration, an activation code, a vibrational alignment that collapses time and space. John memorized every syllable. He felt the prayer carve itself into his being, not in his mind, but deeper, in the place beyond thought where true knowing lives. He understood why Jesus chose him, why this transmission could not be written down or shared openly. The masses sought comfort and miracles. John sought union, total dissolution into the source, and that is exactly what this prayer offered. The dawn light broke across the horizon as Jesus finished speaking. John felt different, expanded, as if invisible doors within him had unlocked. He would carry this prayer for the rest of his life. He would use it in moments of doubt, in times of persecution, in the dark night when exile seemed unbearable, and every single time it would work. 60 seconds. Portal open. Source accessed. Unity restored. Understanding the monad principle. The word monad comes from ancient Greek philosophy, but the concept transcends all traditions. It is found in Gnostic texts, Kabbalistic wisdom, Hermetic teachings, and even quantum physics. The monad represents the first emanation from the Absolute, the original point of consciousness from which all creation unfolds. It is the I am before any qualities are added, pure existence, without definition. Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is within. He was pointing to the monad, the indivisible divine spark that resides at the core of every soul. Most people live their entire lives in the outer layers of identity: name, body, thoughts, emotions, roles. But beneath all of that is the monad, unchanging, eternal, directly connected to God, because it is God experiencing itself through you. This is why the prayer Jesus taught John was so radical. It bypassed every intermediary. No angels, no saints, no rituals. Just direct access. Consciousness speaking to consciousness. The monad within, recognizing the monad without. Subject and object collapsing into one. This is what mystics call union, what Buddhists call enlightenment, what Jesus called entering the kingdom. The prayer works because it uses specific vibrational frequencies encoded in sacred language. Ancient Hebrew and Aramaic were not just communication tools. They were technologies of consciousness. Each sound carried a geometric pattern that affected the energy field. When spoken with intent and presence, these sounds unlock dormant capacities within the human system. They activate what modern science is only beginning to understand as the quantum field of awareness. John practiced this prayer daily. He did not treat it as magic or superstition. He understood it as alignment, like turning a radio to the right frequency. When you align your personal field with the universal field, information flows freely, guidance becomes clear. Healing happens spontaneously, synchronicities multiply. You stop feeling separate from life, you start experiencing yourself as life itself. This is the power Jesus wanted humanity to reclaim, not through him as an external savior, but through the same divine essence he embodied. He showed us what is possible when a human being lives fully from the monad. Miracles become natural. Love becomes effortless. Death loses its sting because you know yourself as that which never dies. You are the eternal witnessing presence, wearing a temporary costume called a body. The 60-second practice revealed. So how does one actually use the monad prayer? John passed it through oral tradition to his closest students. It was never meant to be written in public documents. The power lies not just in the words, but in the intention and the state of consciousness you bring to it. This is participatory mysticism. You must become what you seek. You cannot access the monad from the ego. You must soften into receptivity. Begin by finding a quiet space. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Let your awareness drop from your head into your heart center. This is crucial. The heart is the portal, not the physical organ, but the energetic gateway located in the center of your chest. Eastern traditions call it the heart chakra. Christian mystics call it the sacred heart. It is the meeting place between human and divine. Place your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth. Feel the subtle pulsation of life moving through you. This is not psychological. This is energetic. You are attuning to the frequency field that precedes thought and emotion. You are touching the edge of the monad. Now, from this space, you speak the prayer, not with your voice alone, but with your entire being. Let every cell participate. The prayer itself is structured in 3 movements. First, recognition. You acknowledge the divine presence within yourself, not as something distant or outside, but as your own deepest identity. Second, invocation. You call forth the full expression of that presence. You give it permission to move through you without obstruction. Third, surrender. You release all control and allow Source to take the lead. You become the instrument through which the monad when practiced correctly, something shifts immediately. Time seems to pause. The mental chatter quiets. A sense of peace and expansion fills your awareness. Colors become brighter. Sounds become clearer. You feel connected to everything around you. This is not imagination. This is perception from the monad level. You are seeing reality as it actually is before the filters of conditioning distort it. If you want to go deeper into these ancient practices and access more detailed guidance, check the link in the comments below. There, you will find recommended sources that illuminate this path with clarity and authenticity. These are not light readings. They are keys for serious seekers ready to transform their consciousness and live from the truth that Jesus demonstrated. John's lifetime of monad experience. John lived longer than all the other apostles. He witnessed the crucifixion, the resurrection, the birth of the early church, and decades of persecution. He was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. Through it all, the monad prayer sustained him. It was his refuge, his power source, his direct line to the truth that transcends all circumstances. On Patmos, isolated and alone, John entered states of consciousness that most humans never touch. He saw visions not because he was hallucinating, but because the monad prayer opened portals of perception beyond ordinary awareness. He accessed the Akashic field, the living library of all that was, is, and will be. He saw patterns of human evolution unfolding across centuries. He saw the collective awakening that was destined to come. His writings reflect this expanded state. The Gospel of John is different from the other Gospels. It emphasizes light, logos, and divine presence. It speaks of the Word made flesh, the eternal monad taking human form. John understood what the others had glimpsed, but not fully grasped. Jesus was not just a prophet or a teacher. He was the demonstration of what every human soul is called to become. Fully divine and fully human, simultaneously. The monad prayer helped John integrate this paradox. It allowed him to hold both his humanity and his divinity without conflict. He did not transcend his body or reject his emotions. He included everything within the vastness of the monad. Pain was not the enemy. Fear was not a failure. They were simply movements within the infinite field of consciousness. By accepting them without resistance, they dissolved naturally. This is the secret of true spiritual maturity. It is not about perfection or purity. It is about presence. It is about meeting every moment from the monad level, where nothing is wrong and everything is workable. John became a living example of this embodied realization. He loved deeply, spoke truth fearlessly, and remained anchored in the source, regardless of external chaos. His final years were spent teaching small groups of devoted students. He shared the monad prayer sparingly, only with those whose hearts were truly open. He knew that this was not information to be intellectualized. It was transformation to be lived. And he spent his remaining time ensuring that the transmission would survive, that future generations would have access to the same portal Jesus opened for him on that quiet hillside so many years before. Activating your own source connection. The monad prayer is not ancient history. It is alive right now. It lives in the same space within you that it lived within John. The portal has never closed. The connection has never been severed. Only forgotten, only covered over by layers of distraction, doubt, and disconnection. But underneath all of that, the monad waits. Patiently, eternally, ready to be recognized the moment you turn your attention inward. You do not need special abilities or years of training. You do not need to be pure or worthy. The monad is already present. It is the ground of your being, the light within your light, the awareness behind your awareness. The only requirement is willingness. Willingness to stop, to breathe, to listen, to feel the subtle presence that has been with you since before you took your first breath. Start today. Right now, put your hand on your heart and take one conscious breath. Let your awareness settle into the center of your chest. Ask yourself, what am I beneath all the stories? Do not answer with words. Feel into the silence, the spaciousness, the aliveness that simply is. That is the monad. That is your true nature. That is what Jesus wanted John to remember. What he wants you to remember. As you practice the prayer, do not measure results. Do not chase experiences. Simply show up consistently. 60 seconds every morning. 60 seconds every night. Let the practice accumulate in your system. Let it rewire your neural pathways, clear your energy field, and attune your consciousness to higher frequencies. Over time, you will notice changes. Relationships improve. Clarity increases. Anxiety decreases. Purpose emerges naturally. This is not about becoming someone new. It is about removing what is false so the real you can shine through. The monad has no ego. It does not compete or compare. It simply radiates its own unique expression of the divine. When you live from that place, you stop trying to prove yourself. You stop seeking validation. You rest in the knowing that you are already whole, already loved, already home. Jesus gave this gift to John because he trusted him to carry it forward. John gave it to his students because he knew the world would need it. And now it reaches you. Not by accident, not by chance, but by the same intelligent unfolding that has guided every step of your journey. You are ready. The portal is open. Source is calling. Will you answer? To deeply understand these advanced practices and access detailed guidance, check the link in the comments below. There you'll find resources to support your journey into dimensional consciousness. Recommended sources. 1. The Gospel of Thomas and the Secret Book of John, essential Gnostic texts revealing the monad teachings. 2. The Secret Teachings of Jesus, 4 Gnostic Gospels, comprehensive study of hidden transmission lines. Leave your comment, like, subscribe, and share. On the Divine Light Academy channel, we have new videos every day exploring the deepest mysteries of consciousness, ancient wisdom, and spiritual awakening. Join our community of seekers committed to remembering who they truly are. The monad awaits your recognition. The portal is always open. Source is always here.